Good afternoon. I am Jessica Carroll, the Interim Program Manager for Measure 110, and I'll be assisting Sabrina Garcia with facilitation for today's meeting. The Oversight and Accountability Council welcomes and encourages community input. Members of the public are invited to submit public comments or get on our interested parties email list by emailing oha.measure110@odhsoha.oregon.gov. That email address and more information about the council can be found on the Measure 110 OAC website. For more information or support with community engagement, please contact Sydney McConnell. OAC members have asked that OHA and other staff who are present in the meeting space please introduce themselves in the chat. Please share your role with the agency, and if you're a subject matter expert, your area of expertise. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Sabrina Garcia. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Oversight and Accountability Council meeting. I would like to start this meeting by reading a statement. We want to acknowledge that the OAC received a letter from the Health Justice Recovery Alliance requesting that the OAC implement additional processes prior to and around grant termination. This would be processes in addition to the technical assistance, administrative communications, and opportunities to cure currently offered to grantees prior to termination. Because there are legal and other implications related to the HJRA's request, we are collaborating with OHA and DOJ to determine the next steps. I also want to remind members of the OAC that we previously discussed that for emails to the OAC, individual members should not respond on behalf of the OAC without agreement with the full council at a public meeting. I also want to remind OAC members that we need to be mindful of public meeting laws in avoiding any serial communications outside of public meetings. And with that, I would like to call today's agenda. So today we're going to be going over the budget and extension timeline presentation, the data report presentation, and the OHA updates. And I would like to turn it to Sydney for attendance.
Hello, thank you, Sabrina, and hello, everybody. If you could please say here for the record when I say your name. Amy, just so you know, has let us know she will not be here today. So Carlos.
Here.
Hi, Carlos. Caroline.
Here.
Hi, Caroline. Dharma. Oh, Dharma's coming in right now. Give her just a second. Hey, Dharma, we're just calling attendance. Are you here?
Yes.
All right, thanks. Hi, Dharma. Hubert.
I'm here.
Hi, Hubert. Hunter.
Here.
Hi, Hunter. Jackie. Has Jackie arrived? Jackie Mercer? Not yet. Keisha?
Here.
Hi, Keisha. Leticia has also let us know she will not be available today. Linda? Linda, are you there? I think she may be having sound problems, but I do see her. I'll come back to her.
Yes. Oh, here.
There you are.
Can you hear me now?
There you
Okay.
are. Yes, I hear you. Melinda. Melinda arrived? No Melinda yet. Morgan?
Here.
Hi, Morgan. Nicole? No Nicole yet. Onisha?
There.
Hi, Onisha. Ron?
Here.
Hi, Ron. Ryan?
Here.
Hi, Ryan. Sabrina?
I'm here.
Hi, Sabrina. Zeb?
I'm here.
Hi, Zeb. Tori?
Present.
Hi, Tori. And Ebony has also let us know she will not be here. So we have 14. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Sydney. I would like to now pass it to Jessica for the budget and extension timeline presentation.
Thank you, Sabrina. Can we please pull up those slides? And can I tag John Collins?
Yes, thanks. Hi, everyone. For those of you
who are new on the council and maybe haven't met me before, I am John Collins, he, him, his, Deputy Director for the Health Systems Division. And the subject matter expertise that I bring is really tied to a lot of the contracting and granting issues and budget. And with that, that's why partially Jessica has tagged me to do this piece of the presentation. I think earlier in previous council meetings, we've talked about some of our expectations for the budget for 23-25, and specifically for the 18-month extensions that we're looking to put in place on all the current grantees. We had some worrisome news with the first forecast that we had earlier this year, but then with the forecast that we got, I think earlier this month, I've lost track of time, earlier this month or late last month, we got some different news, and it was pretty good news, I think. So I'm going to go over with y'all this slide so that you can understand what we have available to the council in doing these 18-month extensions that we're planning on doing with the current grantees. So the forecast that we got for the 23-25 biennium for Measure 110 was right at almost $197 million, that top line there. In addition to that $197 million, we are getting $668,000 from the opioid settlement funds. We will also be carrying over from this current biennium, the 21-23 biennium, to the next biennium, which starts July 1st, about $19 million. This was all information that's basically the same in what we knew about previously. The good news and new news for many of us actually was that we learned about the fact that there were potential savings, and they're labeled as potential savings from some of the other agencies that are described in the law that are going to actually be coming your way, to the council's way, for us to distribute to the grantees. And that total is about $39 million. So all the funds that we have available for the council in 23-25 total up to $255.5 million. I think at one point we were thinking that we had roughly $40 to $45 million less than that. So this is some good news. Now, looking into 23-25 and understanding how much money we have available to us to work with our current grantees for the 18-month extension, we go down to this next section. Although it hasn't been finalized, we are working with the tribes around finalization about what the tribal set aside would be. And it's looking like, although again, we still have to finish this discussion, that it'll be roughly the same as what we did for the current biennium, which was $11,400,000. So we would take that away from the 255 up above. We're looking at roughly a $15 million admin budget, which covers the salary of our staff, as well as the phone line and a few other things. And then we are going to need to utilize roughly $57 million of the 23-25 budget to cover our current set of agreements. And that's because the forecast, as y'all know, decreased over the course of last biennium. And so we ended up short dollars. So we're going to have to utilize some of the dollars that we have here in the 23-25 to cover things. But that leaves us with roughly almost $172 million, which, based on the information that we've been getting from the current grantees, once you take out capital expenses and things like that, it's not far off from what they've told us that they need through the surveys that we've been doing. That's going to have to be addressed more concretely as the team starts entering into negotiations with all the grantees. But we're working at a place where roughly we have about the amount of money that we think that we're going to need, rather than being short 40 to $45 million. So that's a good place to be. So if you go to the next slide. This shows, I believe a couple months ago, we showed you a version of this in terms of our overall timeline. And we're into June now, where we've reviewed and we know what our forecasted budget is. And we've worked to basically understand what the needs of the grantees are as far as the budget is concerned. And as I just said, we're pretty close as opposed to being way off. So the team is about to enter into the negotiation phase, where they will start working with all the various providers to land on an amount that they can ultimately bring back to the council and get approval on. And that would end up happening in mid-August or so. And then once we have approval from the council on those negotiated amounts, it would go over to our Office of Contracts and Procurement and to DOJ, and then back out for signature, and then hopefully be done in time by the end of the year. And we have no kind of breaks in funding going out to folks. So that's the overview that I have. I'm happy to try and answer any questions that you might have, or redirect to the Measure 110 staff if I don't know the answer and they do. Oh, now I can see I already have 3 hands up. Ron, looks like you're the first.
No, I think that's tremendous news in terms of being that the requests are in line with the budget. And but that led me to a question in terms of the negotiation phase, which is that the negotiation phase or the contract extension phase will be considering whether organizations are dropping out of birds or whether there would be any service gaps. My question is probably for OHA, because they've seen the requests and they've seen the budget proposals. Are we seeing any dropouts or gaps in terms of service elements missing in any particular burns?
Sure. Hey, Kristen, could you address that?
Yeah, I can answer that question. And so far, we're not seeing any service gaps materialize. Of course, that could change as we continue on, but at this point, we are not seeing that.
Thank you so much. That's great news.
Sabrina, I'm not sure if you want me to call on Lakeisha. I stepped out the boundaries.
Lakeisha's next.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just call it. Yeah. Lakeisha, you're next.
Yeah, I just had a question about when you go into negotiations, are the agencies still at that 25% reduction, or are they going back to like their original ask, or is it the 25% reduction still?
Well,
I think I can probably answer that too if you want, John.
Yeah.
Some organizations have taken a look at what they have spent so far and determined that, they had maybe rollover costs or some savings recognized, or their financial situations changed. So they are asking for less funding than they had originally. Other folks, I think, are asking for about the same, and we're going to have maybe a conversation with some of those partners. If we see that they're not spending quite in line with, if we don't think they're on target to spend their entire grant, we might have a question of if they really need that same amount of money. It's really just an individualized approach. So I think a lot of folks are going to be taking a slight reduction in what they end up with, but that's for a variety of reasons. And a lot of times it's because they have rollover funds that they'll be using.
I guess that kind of answered it. I know I heard that in the instructions, the organizations were asked to reduce by 25%, even if they really didn't want to, but they were asked to in the instructions. So I'm just wondering, are they able to ask for what they really want or stay with that 25%? Like, are they aware that they can ask for their full amount, or do they have to still stick to the 25% reduction?
So we still need folks to reduce their budgets because we don't have the same amount of money overall that we originally had. That $170-ish million is less than the 265 than we originally had. So I think, what folks proposed, those cuts, I think we're going to accept those and not restore any funding because we just don't have the same amount that's available overall.
Yeah, I think to add to what Kristen said, I mean, the two main variables that we're dealing with that cause a difference between, or that make the difference between 265 million and 170-ish million is the fact that we aren't going to be funding any capital expenses under these extensions, which were a huge cost. And then as Kristen said, and this is partially related to us not getting all the grants going as quickly as we would have liked to, there's some carryover. So while the contracted amount for the extensions might be less, and in most cases they will be, in a lot of cases from the agency's point of view, they might have some carryover from this current agreement that can smooth that out. So it is really going to be a case by case basis. Sabrina.
Yeah, thank you. I tried to get off mute. And I was just wondering, did we cover the $15 million in admin costs? I heard you kind of lump it up there. That would be, if I'm repeating it correctly, some of OHA's wages and also the phone line.
Yeah, those are I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering if we get a breakdown of that or if that's something we already previously discussed. I just don't actually remember seeing that, or it might have been presented so long ago, I don't remember.
Yeah, those are the two major expenses. I don't think we have broken it down for you individually. Jessica and or Kristen, do y'all want to address the admin costs, or do you want to bring that information back at a subsequent meeting?
I'm comfortable with getting it at another meeting, and also just what amount is devoted to the phone line. If we could, all of that breakdown would be great. As much as we are allowed to see.
Yeah, we're more than happy to bring that to you at a further meeting. We want to make sure we get everything correct for you.
Okay, thank you. And then also, did you have a question, Ron?
No, hi, thank you. So I was trying to, or wanting to put a finer point on what John was just saying about the 265 less the one-time capital cost. After the capital cost, well, we were about 195, 196 million after roughly. And so that that's kind of the number we were dealing with in terms of after the one-time cost. And so with the 171, that's a lot closer to the 196 than it is to 265. I just wanted to put a finer point in it.
Yeah, thank you, Ron. And the one thing, going back to Sabrina's question as well, we are still in the process of negotiating that phone contract. So yeah, we're a little bit mushy on exactly where that number is going to land, but we will bring back information as it becomes available to kind of put a finer picture on that admin budget as well.
Okay, well, thank you guys very much. If there's no other further discussion around this, I would like to welcome Ani for the data report presentation. And Ron, did you have a question real quick?
No, before we moved on, I just want to say this is tremendous news. And I think we should all just, take a moment and realize what John is saying is that, the cuts aren't going to be as severe, that we're going to be what the folks asked for and what we have available are essentially equal. And so it's not the dire straits that we thought it would be, and we're in much better shape. And I think and that's a very positive and strong position for us to be in. And I just wanted to accentuate that point.
Thank you very much, Ron, and I'll let Jessica go ahead and then I'll make my comment.
Oh, go ahead. I have a comment about the next presentation. So go ahead, Sabrina.
No, I just wanted to say, yes, it is a big milestone. So thank you all very much. And thank you all for the information. I'm pretty sure a lot of people across the state of Oregon are rejoicing right now. So thank you. Thank you for highlighting that, Ron. And go ahead, Jessica.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, great news all around. I'm gonna lower my hand. So Ane and Emily are here from our data division, and they're gonna give an overview of the data report that you all received in your email today, and that will be posted on the Measure 110 website. There are going to be some questions that they may be able to answer, and there are some questions that they may need to get back to you on or may not be able to answer during this meeting. So if you have any questions for them, you can always reach out to Carly, but I just wanted to make sure that you all understood that you always have that option. Ane.
Thank you, Jessica. Hi, everyone. My name is Ane Tarango. I am part of the Behavioral Health Analytics Division within OHA, and I work very closely with my colleague, Emily, on Measure 110 data collection. As Jessica mentioned, we have a report to show you all today that contains Q1 and Q2 both programmatic and expenditure data, which should cover July through December of last year. In addition to sort of like the demographic and fiscal data, it also covers just general overview of funds awarded per county, information on the number of organizations in each burn, as well as a burn directory. And then also, as Jessica mentioned, the link was sent over to you all, but will be posted on the Measure 110 website. And if you have any questions that won't be answered in this next presentation, feel free to email Carly, and Emily and I will be happy to meet with you all. I'll send it over to Emily now.
All right. Thanks, Ane. Hi, my name is Emily Pertu. I also work in behavioral health analytics as a research analyst there. And both Ane and I have been working with the Measure 110 team on the data collection and reporting. So it's a real pleasure to be with you guys today. I'm happy to be able to give you kind of a sneak peek at the data that we've received so far. And I know you guys have the link to this, but I will give you guys just a brief tour, and then I encourage y'all to dig through. There's lots of different ways to slice the data. And so spend some time with that. And then, like Ane said, if you guys have questions, you can get back to us on those. So when you open up the link, you'll find yourself on this landing page. This gives a brief background on Measure 110 and a pretty short timeline, just to provide some context as to when the ballot measure was passed versus, you know, when these burns were funded and when the data that you're looking at was actually collected. We then jump into processing a page that gives an overview of just the burns, the number of entities by county. So we're looking at all of this is clickable, so you can filter by county to see the number of burns in each region. You can see the number of organizations, the amount of the award, and then just for some context, the population of each county, and then percentages of those. We also have just some initial information on the tribal grantees, tribal allocations. We are working to build out basically their own page. It's hard to group them all together with the Measure 110 burn partners. And so we're working on a dedicated page for them that will hopefully be available to y'all soon. This page is just one that gives folks an opportunity to look for services to see where based on where they're at. You can filter by county, you can filter by service area, figure out how to contact that service. So again, a dynamic page that people can look through. This is a static page, the only one in the report, but it provides just an overview of the data collection process. And so we are right here kind of in phase 2, and we're moving forward. And just as a reminder, ultimately, we are aiming toward this 2024 timeframe when we'll be able to collect this client level data and kind of build out a more robust reporting system. So this tab will give you an overview of engagement and services. So I think you all are familiar with the fact that we're collecting a number of clients and a number of service encounters. And so this page provides you with both of those. You can use these buttons to toggle between the two, so number of encounters versus number of clients. And then you can go through here and you can also filter by county. This is scrollable. Just as a reminder, for any of our client counts, we won't display numbers that are less than 10 just to preserve confidentiality. We then go into a couple pages on the demographic information that we've collected. So we have one on race ethnicity. And so again, there are just several ways that this data can be sliced, keeping in mind that we are not showing numbers less than 10. So for some populations, you might not see a whole lot of data, but you can look again by service area to see how these numbers change. You can filter by county to go through and to see how the breakdowns change by county. Same thing, basic structure is the same on this page for the age breakdown, just a different type of visual here to show that. You can look at it based on Q1 or Q2, look at it by service area, by county. You can filter the map by age group. And then, so in addition to the quantitative data that we're collecting from the burn partners, we're also asking them to provide narrative responses to for these reports for 3 questions. One on the successes that they're experiencing with their Measure 110 funded services, one on how they're using the funding to lower access barriers, and then the last one on types of challenges that they're experiencing in their work. And so we went through all the comments that were provided by the burn providers, by the burn partners, and just want to give recognition to them. They really put a lot of effort into these narratives. They took the time to really describe what's going on the ground for them for each of these 3 questions. It provides a really beneficial picture of what's going on that the quantitative data can't really relay to folks. And so I really encourage folks to take the time to dive into this page to see what the partners are saying, because I do think it gives folks a much richer idea of what is going on the ground for these services. So just to give you an idea of how you should navigate this page, you can look at these general themes that arrived by the question type. So success themes were things like they were able to expand their service capacity and lower barriers. They were able to do some hiring. They were strengthening their connections with firm partners and other organizations. You can go here and look at the main themes that were associated with the question on how they're lowering barriers. And then here, same thing for the challenges that they were facing. Then once you're looking at these themes, if you want to dig into them a little bit deeper, you can click on this and this will populate comments from the burn partners. And so you can look at these boxes will change based on the theme that is selected. And it just gives you a little bit more context as to what these themes are referring to. And it also helps to give our partners a voice in describing the work that they're doing. Lastly, we have a page on expenditure data. And so our expenditure data is reported in 2 ways. It's reported by service area and then by type of expenditure. And so we have both breakdowns here for you. This graph shows both quarter one and quarter two side by side. This graph here will just show 1 quarter at a time due to its nature. You can show them cumulatively if you want to know overall what's being spent, or you can toggle back and forth between the different quarters. And just referencing the titles, they'll always tell you if you're not sure kind of what you're looking at. The title will always tell you whether you're looking at both quarters, 1 quarter, quarter one, quarter two, and then like which counties you're looking at. So those are the pages that are in our report. It is, a living document. We expect, we'll update as needed. If you guys have any questions or suggestions, we're happy to take them. So I will give the mic back to Sabrina, I guess, to take questions.
Thank you very much. I see that you have your hand up, Ron.
Ron, I think you're muted. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to say to Emily and Ani, this report is beautiful. It looks great. It's very functional. It's easy to understand. The information contained in it is tremendous. You've done a wonderful job here, and I'm very appreciative of it. I did kind of just a thumbnail, scratch paper number of clients, looking at the number of clients, and the number that I came up with was 50,300 clients were served by the burns. And that number, if that's correct, is a tremendous number. It's fantastic. And OHA and the OAC should be shouting that number from the rooftop in terms of the number of people who are being served and the effectiveness of this program is being proven. I want to congratulate the OAC, the Measure 110 providers, and OHA for this report. Our providers are doing a tremendous job of getting these services out. Their efforts should be commended, and no one should be able to tell us that this isn't working and we're not making a difference in Oregon. Thank you very much. This is a tremendous report, and it's great news for all of us.
Thank you very much, Ron, and I share that same sentiment. So thank you for verbalizing that. Carlos, did you have a question?
I wanted to thank you. That I was looking through it or scrolling through it. It's a lot easier to navigate than what we had before. I have folks that will message me from other counties when they're looking for specific services. And when I would direct them to what is it called? The website that we had before, it was difficult to navigate, where this one is a lot easier. And so I just wanted to thank, whoever put this together. I wish I had that type of a mind to do those type of, what is it called? Being able to collect data that way. I don't have that type of a mind. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Carlos. Morgan?
Yeah, hi, and thank you so much. I really love this. And it'll be live on the Measure 110 site today after the meeting. Was that?
Sydney is nodding yes. So I'm
Yes.
going to go with Sydney's nod.
Cool. That was what I was wondering. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Morgan. Dharma?
I was wondering, for those areas where the info is less than 10, is there a way for us to see that there is that data missing, where it's not displaying?
Do you mean to see the numbers that are less than 10, or?
Yeah.
To actually see what the numerical values are? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, just so we can see that's happening there.
So it is our standard practice. Any information that has a client count or a person count in any of our reports, this isn't just a Measure 110 thing, but any count that's out there that is less than 10, and there's some, like for rates and everything, it varies, but we just don't share that information. We just classify it as less than 10 so that folks can't be, you couldn't do like a cross-reference between demographics, location, service area, and narrow down on a single or a small group of individuals. And so we really do that to protect people's privacy. So that is just standard confidentiality practice. Is that what you're asking me though, Dharma?
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like maybe.
because I just worry in the future that like for trans clients that like there won't be enough of us to get counted into data and those kinds of
Yeah.
things. Because it's a problem that I've run into before, where there's probably not a lot of us, especially in rural counties, where we'll end up getting erased out of the data. And so I'm wondering if that data can just be reported that they're like maybe is those kinds of clients being served in those areas, just so that it's not being underserved in that way. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, no, I absolutely know what you mean. And this is a conversation that we have a lot, especially with our equity and inclusion team. And I know that we're like as an agency working on ways that we can have groups, especially when you look at like Real D demographic information at that Real D level, where those groups, become much smaller as you break down parent race categories into smaller ones. A way to have those populations be visible, but still protected. And so that is something that we are as an agency working with, and then also working with E&I to try to figure out better ways to present the demographic information. And I know for some other groups, presenting it in a slightly different way. So once we have more data showing more of like an average or a number over time, that's not going to lead us to like a less than 10 or a small number. But right now, with just this limited data set, we have less tools at our disposal to try to present that data and to represent that population. But I do very much hear what you're saying. And so hopefully we'll be able to incorporate those kind of represent those populations soon. And this is definitely going to be a document that changes over time and hopefully improves to include more groups. So thank you for that, though, Dharma.
Thank you. Morgan, did you still have your hand up?
No, sorry, let me take it down.
Okay, if there's no other further discussion, and thank you guys, and thank you for coming in and presenting that. It looks very user-friendly. I would just like to now pass it to Jessica.
Thank you, Sabrina. So yeah, great job, data folks. You all are amazing. It's an amazing report. I really encourage you all to take some time and look at it. It's really good. So I am here to present the OHA updates. The first update I have is that just a reminder that we are going to have the media subcommittee on July 19th. And so if you haven't already sent over your interest and you're just now hearing about it, or just please let Sydney and Carly know and we'll get you added to that and we'll get a link to you. Yeah, Sabrina.
I was just wondering, did we have interest as of yet for the subcommittee?
Oh, we have plenty of interest.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, should be a robust committee for sure. Second is we have an update on the Klamath burn. We wanted to let you all know that we have started in the process of, we met with the providers in Klamath to determine if anyone was interested in providing supported employment in Klamath County. They should have, those organizations that are interested should have their plans back to us in about a week. And then we will take the next steps, which is bringing it to you all to determine who will be providing that service in Klamath. So just wanted you to know that we are engaged in that process and following it. And my last update is, Ron Williams.
Yeah, could you remind us of that process for replacing a entity
Yeah, so first,
or a service element?
yeah, and this is for anytime there's a missing service element in any county, whether it's voluntary or involuntary. The first thing we do is go to the providers that are already established burn providers in the county and ask them if they're interested, if any of them are interested in providing that service. And if they are, then they provide us with a plan and a budget, and that decision obviously rests with the council to read those plans and determine which organization or organizations they would like to have provide that service. If none of those organizations, oh yeah, Ron?
would that be a full council evaluation of all the proposals or a subcommittee? Or would be based on recommendations from OHA?
So we're not quite there yet. I think right now it's gonna depend on how many proposals we get back. I mean, I think it's up to the council if you all would like to create a
Right,
subcommittee.
that's the process I was asking if that was clarified.
Oh,
What
okay.
that would look like. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we've gone into that detail. However, I think if the council would like to create a subcommittee to do that, you absolutely can. That is,
I was just curious as to whether or not that had, because in my mind, I thought we had something else. So that OHA would reach out, develop, find out who's available, and then bring to us recommendations. It wasn't clear in my mind that we would be going through, that council members would be evaluating proposals.
okay, so, great question. Let me get back to you on that, Ron.
Thank you.
All right, any more questions on that? Okay, and my last update is that we are going to be having another tri-chair election on August 9th. I believe the term is up in early September. And so no clapping. No, I'm just kidding. I know, I believe the term is up in early September, so we just wanted to give you all fair notice and get you to start thinking about whether you would like to self-nominate for the tri-chair election and become a tri-chair. It comes with some significant responsibility. It's a, okay, Carlos. It comes with significant responsibility. It's a pretty significant amount of time that you dedicate to being a tri-chair. And so it looks like Carlos is self-nominating, and so we're gonna have the same process that we have had every other time, is we're gonna give you all an opportunity on the day of the election to kind of nominate yourself and read a statement if you'd like to prepare one, and then folks can vote. So it's good to know Carlos is interested. If anybody else is, you can send us information. You can send us your self-nomination, or you can just declare it in a meeting. Nothing super formal.
Is it all self-nomination, or can someone nominate someone else?
I think, to my recollection, I believe we went with self-nomination because of the commitment, and we didn't want to put folks on the spot but I mean, it's totally up to you. If you want to nominate somebody around, feel free. You might want to talk to them first, though.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I know we're all super busy. Any questions on the tri-chair election? All right, well, that is the end of my updates, Sabrina.
Thank you very much. I don't have anything else except for encouragement for people to not please be shy and to nominate themselves for the tri-chair seat. I think it's going to be my turn to step down. So I can't wait to see who's going to be the next tri-chair. But other than that, I just wanted to touch on it a little bit of what it would look like. It would be the tri-chair election would be August 9th. And then I think somebody would join us in the tri-chair meetings behind the scenes for a series of meetings before I actually transition out. So that way they can come acclimated to what those responsibilities are. So thank you. And I don't have anything else if nobody else has any further discussion. Okay, Jessica, we're good, I think. Oh, wait, Ron has his hand up.
I just have just a small thing. And the data analysis kind of reminded me of it. So I'm aware of a number of efforts around the state to develop like a comprehensive resource guide of the burn services by county, by organization, direct contact information to be able to not just click and see the organization, but actually reach a human being and be able to make a phone call to get services. there are a couple of efforts, and I'm just thinking in terms of the data analysis, that you can click on the link that we have now in the what we were just sent in the link. You can click on the link of the organization and see the organization, but folks are asking for very specific, like granular contact information. If you want to call, a staff person on Max's mission, what that number is, and is it going to be available on the website, for example. And so that sort of information. And my question is, can we get that granular on that website?
So we can absolutely do that, Ron, and that is something that we have attempted to do in the past as a program. I would encourage any provider, we will reach out again, but I would encourage any provider that wants to provide that information for us for our website to reach out to the Measure 110 inbox. We'll definitely get it up there.
And the second thing I want to mention is that in May, the Oregon SUD provider directory was published, and there were no burns, unless there were no new burn members listed in that directory of the harm reduction providers, newer organizations. It's all, and so I just want to ask if that's possible in terms of that directory. Can it be filled out with, the next time it comes out, can it be filled out with Measure 110 providers? Because I'm the ones who are doing detox and residential co-occurring and all of those things that have been in there before, but in terms of harm reduction, supported employment, peer support, and those types of things, they're not in the directory. So I just wanted to lift that up.
Thanks, Ron.
OHA. So that's all I've got.
Okay, so we're good, Jessica?
I got one more
Ron.
thing.
You gotta ask Ron.
So just in terms of the good news of this report, is OHA and Media and Communications going to issue a press release with the tri-chairs and staff talking about these wonderful numbers? I saw Tim Hyder.
Yep, there is a there is a press release going out. Media communications are happening. We're lifting this up as high as we can. I would suggest you all do it as well.
Okay, thank you. That was my last thing.
Are you sure, Ron?
I have more, but I'll leave it for another
Okay.
day.
All right.
Okay, Jessica, I'm good. If we have nothing else, to give everybody an hour of their day back.
Yay. All right. Well, thanks, everyone.
And welcome, Hunter. Welcome, Ryan. Welcome, Linda.
Welcome, everyone.
We want to hear you guys kind of mix it up more, so jump in there.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, all. Bye, Carol.